one of our officers just got a text yesterday from a TRP doc who wants to open a practice and is considering having him run it. Like that, for students, there's so many opportunities, and TRP is such a powerful network. And when we get all those people in one spot, like absolute magic is happening.
Yeah, the networking and finding potential great fits for future associateships for any doc that wants to associate, I think is a really smart move to be there in person. Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. This podcast is dedicated to chiropractors who are in the seasons of launching and building their practice. Join myself, Dr. Lona, and my co-host, Dr. Bobby, as we have conversations each week as it relates to building the practice of your dreams. And remember, you can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. We're here to lead you on the way.
Hey, welcome back to Build Your Remarkable podcast or practice podcast. I am on this morning with two amazing shining humans who will be entering our profession, and I will be so excited when they walk across the stage and are officially chiropractors. I am here with Aaron and Cory, who are two of our leaders for the TRP student clubs at their respective chiropractic schools. So welcome, you two. Aaron, I'm going to hand it to you first. Give us a little intro on yourself, who you are, and why you chose chiropractic.
Hey guys, so my name is Eric Colabella. I'm a 12th course student at Sherman College of Chiropractic, and I really want to say I chose chiropractic, but I think I'm like in the group of chiropractic chose me. And once chiropractic was a big part of my life, I just knew that it was part of my life mission to share this with the world and let chiropractic be the vessel in which I help raise the global vibration.
I mean, that's a great mission. Awesome. And Cory, how about yourself?
Hi, I'm Cory. I'm a 8th quarter student. Sorry, I had to think about it. And I got into chiropractic because I didn't really know what I wanted to do in undergrad. And then I've always gone to chiropractors. I always kind of aligned with the wellness movement. And then COVID hit and everything kind of lined up, and I found my path into chiropractic. And then I worked at an office.
Having been our
in
office.
all right office. No, it was the best experience ever with Dr. Lona, and that really solidified everything for me and showed me that I'm on the right path. So
Awesome. Yes. If we pick on each other during this podcast, it's in great fun. We missed when Cory left because we didn't have our typical intern punching bag. I'm just kidding. All right. Well, you guys, I kind of prepped you with a few questions that I wanted to dive into. So the first one is, as a student member of TRP, what do you feel has been the most fruitful in engaging in the student club and being leaders in the student club for TRP? Cory, we'll go to you first on this one.
yeah, I'd say being able to see both mine and all the club members, their visions kind of evolve throughout being in the club for multiple quarters, as well as just them picking up on small and global aspects of what TRP is all about, and just understanding more of how an office can be run well, and just how harmonizing it can be.
I love
But
that. So definitely an expansion of your vision.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's really true. That is for sure an aspect for me being in TRP that has happened. It's just I thought I had a big vision, and then you get in around other people and you realize I can keep expanding what I could see as possible, and there's actually a pathway to do that. So that's been beautiful for us too. So that's great. Aaron, how about you?
Hey, so Cory, I love that you talked about vision. I think that's one of the most impactful things about TRP, and I don't feel like it's talked about enough in programs. And so I think it's just so powerful that TRP, that's the very, very foundation of everything. And I just love that. But I think the big thing for us is that at least TRP Club and TRP in general is attracting A players. And so we have people who are doing big things in multiple areas of their life, whether it's in other organizations at school, in their church, in their community. Like these are people who are called to serve, and they're doing something about it. And so it's really beautiful. And this was not an intention, but just a beautiful awakening upon seeing the evolution of TRP Club at Sherman is that we've seen the growth and the personal development that these people who are learning TRP principles and applying them and watching these other organizations or these other energy outlets of their life be like exponentially improved by the things that they're learning in TRP.
That's awesome. It's so true that so much of what we learn about when we're nurturing and growing and improving upon something, you could apply that to many, many areas of your life and many, many different projects. And
Hmm.
what do they say? Like a rising tide floats all ships or something like that, right? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, and to that point too, I think there is an element that like we tend to attract the movers and the shakers and the people who are wired to want to keep improving things. That doesn't mean you have to go at Mach 10 speed, but this desire to want to keep improving, I think, is a
Mhm.
foundational aspect, and doing it in a humble way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so I know both of you have had quite a number of immersions under your belt at this point, which is our word for the seminars that we put on each year that circle around attraction, conversion, retention, team building. So, how have the immersions specifically affected maybe what you can see for yourself, as well as your network of people that you can call upon within chiropractic, or any other benefits of just being present at the immersions? You guys are great help there, I should also add to. So, we're so grateful for the students that come join us and help us put on the events. But what have you benefited from? Eric, I'll give it to you first on this.
Yeah, so I know Corey can relate. Like being at immersions as CAs or interns has been like that was so like inspiring. I mean, if that doesn't propel you to get into chiropractic, I don't know what would. But it's really cool to have the contrast of understanding like what that reality was like when I was in that role, and now that I'm a student and I've been to I don't even know how many since being in leadership now, and they're just they're so powerful on such a deep level. Like the collective consciousness of an immersion is so intense and so like
Mhm.
powerful because it's all these people who are like all on the mission of saving the world one spine at a time. Like, and it's so important, like the work that we do, and we learn so much from it. And that's an exciting thing. We know that's what's going to happen every time we get there. So when we get there, like the energy is super, super high.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's how every single person presenting in that space is. And then on top of that, you would just have like so much common ground with all these people, and you can literally talk to any stranger there and have such a great conversation and get so much out of it. But for students, it's that times 700 because
Yes.
there's so much opportunity. I mean, one of our officers just got a text yesterday from a tier doc who wants to open a practice and is considering having him run it. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
for students, there's so many opportunities, and TRP is such a powerful network. And when we get all those people in one spot, like absolute magic is
Yeah,
happening.
the networking and finding potential great fits for future associateships for any doc that wants to associate, I think is a really smart move to be there in person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Okay, Corey, how about you? What have you felt from the immersions?
First of all, they just get the juices flowing. Um, if you don't come out of that weekend excited, then
Yeah.
you're probably in the wrong space.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, just being able to see what's possible for as well as for just the vast majority of like different kinds of offices.
Mhm.
Um, you can back to vision, you can create your own vision and you can be as successful as you want, as you allow yourself to be.
Mhm.
Um, so seeing just the difference in the kinds of chiropractors there, as well as just the vast quantity of success between so many different chiropractors. That and just the as a student, the exposure to all the different vendors, just seeing what you all need in a successfully run chiropractor, efficiently run office,
Mhm.
um, to the like the very minute things that most students aren't going to think about, from someone doing your helping you with your taxes to literally a blueprint business. But yeah, just the peer exposure is it's second to none, especially for a student.
Yeah. And I know you guys have been to a lot of seminars. In saying that, I'm glad you brought up the success partners. That's what we call the vendors that are in the vendor space. And they're very much curated so that you have exposure to seeing the different things that really will help your practice, that maybe you don't have to reinvent the wheel, or, we're chiropractors, most of us aren't adept digital marketers. So, that's something that you can outsource. And so just, again, already having exposure to, I'm going to say, vetted options that are out there to add on to your business, to improve your business, I think is great. Same thing, whether it's choosing who's going to run your credit card processing, or choosing which EHR system you want to go with, like to have a process of maybe which ones you check out first, that kind of, it should leap you over the finish line of knowing which ones are probably the best to go with right from the get-go. So I like that you brought that up, Cory. Okay, so that kind of leads me in. I know that both of you, I believe, are planning to open your own practices. So obviously with that headspace in mind, you're coming into the immersions and you're leading the clubs and whatnot. And so maybe you can speak from that point of view as a student that's preparing to become an entrepreneur, but also for some of your compadres that are planning to associate, like what do you feel like they get? I know we've already said a network, which is awesome, but any thoughts on just the difference if we're talking to other students who may be interested in getting connected into TRP, whether through the clubs or through maybe a doctor that they could have as a mentor? What would you say some of the benefits are for someone who's planning to open versus planning to associate? Cory, I'll give it to you first.
Yeah, I'd say if you're in the Remarkable Practice Club, we have resources where we can help you, say for peak, or I don't know what you guys call it at Sherman, but
An externship.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like we can help align you with getting into a TRP office, someone that will help you with your wants and your needs in terms of how to run a good practice. And then just the exposure to the scripts that TRP has, getting those down, or at least knowing what they can and should look like, a framework of it. Having that down when you get out it just makes everything more efficient. I just started student clinic and it has made that go by like a breeze. So yeah, just the exposure to the different resources that TRP offers, it
Mhm.
just puts you a step ahead.
Yeah. And Cory, you're a collegiate athlete, and so you're used to having practices every day. So how much time are you spending practicing some of these things? Like, what do I want to say to a new patient? What do I want to say on a second visit? Like, how much time have you put in looking through the things like scripting that if you learn them and practice them, don't feel like you're being scripted then, right?
Yeah, obviously the first times we won't talk about those. But but as you've seen, Lily. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, it just takes repetition. I mean, honestly, if you read through it a handful of times and then try to do it on your own a handful of times without looking, it really, that alone helps a lot. But I mean, if you do it periodically throughout the week, every couple or for a couple weeks on end, then you're set to go.
I think that's a big part of what we teach our practices, our docs that are out there, bringing their teams to these events, is that we're in a training culture, which is similar to thinking about an athlete. Like there's a training culture of like, you show up for practice, you're getting, even if you're the best on the team, you're still practicing, right? And so that culture in your office at any point where everybody's always role playing and working on basically the process is an important part to start. So certainly starting as a student is amazing to start to get a feel for your words and how, we all wear our mentor's clothes for a little bit of like, well, how does TRP suggest I say this? Or how do I want to use some of what they suggest as great language and make it my own? And I think that's a beautiful reason for a student to also really tease out some of these scripts that are already in there and start to try on those words and get repetition there. So, Air, how about you? What do you think about some of the benefits?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it comes down to confidence. And so the tools that we're getting through TRP and through the academy, through all the amazing people like you who pour into us and come speak into us, it's that there's so much confidence that can be built from that. Like, hey, there are these legends out there doing big work, they're successful. And if these and in TRP, like we're in a room with like 600 people, like if these 600 can do it, like why can't I? you know? And like that's really when we're on immersions, there's 600 people.
Mhm.
But, like, and I think that's a big part of it, right? Is that, you have way more conviction, way more clarity, you have way more certainty. And it's because like you understand what the reflections of those things look like and the importance of having those things and what the fruits of those things are. And so I think that's a big part of it is that you have like so much more faith in what an outcome will be that you can put so much more force into making that happen.
Mm. Yeah, that's really, really good. Cory, I think you alluded to this too of like, there's when you come into the room or when you realize how many different doctors are using TRP as their coaching and the systems and whatnot, you realize also that when we say that we want you to come up with your own vision, we really mean it. And I think that's one of the really beautiful parts for students to see too, is that like this system doesn't have a like one size fits all or success is only, if you see 400 a week or something like that. It's like, what is your dream? And then how do we help you put the right structures in place, both patient facing and internally, in how we run rhythms for communication and onboarding team members and just growing into that vision. And then hopefully visions constantly revive themselves into different ways. You're going to be auditing that vision and seeing different things. Just like if you're climbing a mountain, you see different places you're going to step and different peaks that you want to go to. That's a natural part of having a vision, is that it's ever changing. So last thing here, you guys, if we're going to be sharing this out there and there's students who maybe listen in that aren't active in the club or maybe interested in joining, or even other schools, because I know we've got a couple other schools that are getting started for their TRP clubs. Like, how do they reach out to you? And I know you both are extremely approachable, but if they're a little overwhelmed by 600 people in a room and or just feeling like they haven't done any of this work yet, how do they reach out and contact and become your friend so that you can help them grow as well alongside you?
Yeah, so no gatekeeping here. You can be my friend. I will share all my secrets with you because they're actually not really secrets to begin with. But yeah, so big thing, you can reach out to TRP Club Sherman. That's our Instagram handle. And you can also reach out to me personally on Instagram. I'm Chiropractor, like chiropractor, but air because that's and I'm super, super excited to talk to you about anything. I think another thing too, one last thing I want to bring up
Mhm.
is like if you are worried that you might not see like what your common ground is, even though we're all brought together by chiropractic, a big thing is that because TRP is so subluxation focused, and a big part of it is that you can have like any technique, any background, and it really plays in so well. Like
Yep.
that's one we've really been able to do with our club is like collaborate with all these other clubs on campus and like come together, whether it's network club, TRT, Gonstead, literally any upper cervical club, because there's so many upper cervical TRP docs. Like there's so many cool ways to like bring worlds together. So the big thing is that if you're questioning if there's a way that you will be connected, like just stop questioning it because there is, I promise you already.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I love that. Cory, how about you?
Yeah, our club thing on Instagram, I think is LifeUTRP. And then if you want to reach out to me, I'm more than happy to ask questions, help you out. My Instagram handle is HoaglandCory2. So yeah,
Cory, I'm gonna pitch you one last thing here. So Cory, are you naturally a super extroverted person?
you already know that answer.
I do.
No, I'm not.
I know, as he's turning red right now. But what I want to say is, Cory, how much has it helped you also, as someone who's not wired extroverted, to like step into your voice more and be comfortable? Like, if I would have had you step on a podcast 3 years ago, you probably would have been like, "I hate you so much right now," right? Like, and
I
yeah,
would have did it, but
yeah, yeah. But you've grown exponentially in your comfort levels of speaking in front of people and leading other people, wouldn't you say?
yeah, no, it's helped a lot. Both just being a TRP alone and being an officer, both have helped me
Hmm.
uh, take a step up. Just the outreach of being an officer that I have to do, the collaborations, the reaching out. But then just as being a member, it just gets you used to talking to people, it gets you used to working with other people, gets you used to problem solving.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, it's definitely helped out a lot.
Yeah, so good. And I think that's a big piece of this too, is like we tend to all want to wire to stay safe, and safe means comfortable sometimes, and in the long run that's just putting off some of the hard work that's going to need to happen in practice, especially because we are all endeavoring in a profession that requires us to be pretty well, connected to people. And so, for students listening to that are like, oh gosh, role playing in front of each other and things like that that could come with it, like that can feel like, why would I ever choose to do that? But this will really accelerate your speed of probably being more comfortable coming into primary practice eventually, and what you'll be doing with people in your community and people in your four walls of your practice. So kudos to you two for both stepping up in leadership in school and all the benefits that you are reaping from doing that. But I know it's not always comfortable. Yes. All right, guys. Thank you for your time this morning. I'm sure you guys got classes to run too. So we'll see you on the flip side. And I can't wait to be with you guys at the next immersion.
Thank you so much. Talk to you
Thank you,
soon.
Dr. Lona.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey everyone, please listen in for this next bonus interview of one of our remarkable success partners. They all help us help more people find the benefits of chiropractic. So listen on.
Dr. Kendall, it is awesome to have you. I'm so excited. It's an honor to have you on our CEO podcast. We have an amazing CEO audience here with us today, and some of them may know who you are, and some of them might not know who you are. So I was hoping that you could maybe just take a moment, introduce yourself, help us to get to know the expert in the room a little bit. Tell us your story of your business, Elevate Marketing. Yeah. Some folks in the audience will have familiarity with Elevate, and others might not. So let's talk about what's led us to be sitting here together today.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me, Dr. Kale. I'm super excited to be here, to be able to drop some wisdom, hopefully, and be able to help docs grow, help them scale their practices. I'm just like everybody that's probably out there listening, right? I am a chiropractor, subluxation based practice, and we're rocking and rolling in the Chicagoland area. And I think that the sort of genesis of where I came from, and I was in practice, and we had grown our practice to $1 million practice, right? And so I know that there's a ton of people out there that they want to do that same thing, and I learned, right, from trial and error what worked and what didn't. But what I realized was that marketing and bringing new patients in the door was one of the most important things that most practices struggle with. And it was something that honestly, for me, it became something that was kind of easy because I developed the skills, but not just the skills, but the mindset to be able to do that as well. And Elevate really spawned from, if I'm honest, it was a very selfish desire for myself. I was right next door to a gym, and the guy who was running the gym, we became friends, and he was telling me about the marketing that he was doing for his gyms, because he owned 3 at the time. And he was telling me about this guy, Alex Hermosi. And he was working with Alex Hermosi. For those of you guys who don't know, massive in the social media marketing world.
Yep.
And he was learning all of these principles and concepts. And so what we did, and through having dinner conversation, we said, I'm like, well, why don't you run ads for me? I'll pay you to do it. And so I had one-on-one with him to be able to go next door and whiteboard out ideas and talk about the things that were, and we built a system, if I'm honest, that was really designed around my practice. Very selfish, right? But we started getting good results. We're getting great results. And I'm like, 6-to-1, 8-to-1, 10-to-1, 12-to-1 returns. And I'm like, dude, I got to tell everybody about you. So I started.
Those are good numbers.
Yeah. So I started referring people, in the doors, and Elevate was born from that. And so along that path, I worked in a kind of behind the scenes role, helping chiropractors to, understand mindset shift, be able to have conversations with them, to be able to say, like, look, if you do these things, this is what gets you the best results. If you don't do these things, you're not going to get the sort of results that you're expecting. And I think that's really where Elevate has come from. And I don't know I don't know when this will air, but we have actually just been named to the Inc. 5000 list for this year.
Awesome.
So
You're on the
yeah,
grow. Love
yes.
it.
So that's a very, very exciting piece of news. And it just goes to show that we're growing as a company, but marketing is really ever evolving, right? And that's the thing that I think is so unique. But the thing that I love about what I do is I get to speak into practices and into their four walls about what to do, how to navigate the problems and things that they see, and be able to, come shoulder to shoulder with them and say, look, I am a chiropractor. I understand what's happening in your practice. Here's the levers, here's the dials that we can pull to be able to make a change.
Awesome. You've addressed a little bit of the question I'm about to ask, but I think there's maybe a bit of room for it. Most of our watchers or listeners are going to be familiar to some degree or another with marketing in the chiropractic space and social media marketing. I'm just curious about what you're doing at Elevate that maybe sets you apart a little bit from what other chiropractic marketing companies are doing.
Man, that's a great question. And I think it's a great question because there's so much out there, right? And it's like, what is working, what is not? And I think that because the market is evolving, right? I mean, it's July of 2025 and the market is tough. The economy is tough for a lot of chiropractors. And I'm seeing this across the hundreds of clients that we have, that things are tough for a lot of practices out there. But there are things that you can do that really help. And I think that the approach that we take is what really separates us from a lot of the competition, in that we're trying to understand your local market, because gone are the days of everyone just saying, spend $1,500 in ad spend and you're going to get 100 leads. That doesn't happen anymore. You have to be much more focused and intentional around how you are building your funnels, right? So the ad is the top, right? The ad is what gets somebody to stop the scroll. But what happens after that? What are the emails? What are the text messages? What does the follow-up cadence? What are those things doing to drive people into your doors? And so we help our clients to, number one, we've built systems that work for that, but then helping them to be able to tell their story through their marketing message. Because the reality is 30 new patients on your calendar and only having 5 of them show is a much worse situation than having 20 on your calendar and 18 of them show.
Yeah.
And so it's being able to pull those levers, move those dials to be able to help practices do that. And I think one of the really cool things that we're seeing, especially in the AI space, is that the ability to reach out to leads, whether it be through text messages, and we've actually developed a voice AI that actually reaches out to leads and will get them scheduled into your calendar, right? To where it really removes that barrier. Because right now, one of the things we're seeing that's more important than it's ever been is speed to lead. And if you're not reaching out to those new patients that are scheduling within 5 minutes, in a lot of cases, you're losing them. And what adds to that is the fact that the majority of people who opt into a funnel are people who are not, they're sitting on their couch and they're scrolling at night. And so that's not when your practice, that's not when your team is able to respond. And so we're looking at the problems that we see and then creating solutions for those problems.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a lot of the pain points that I hear, when I talk to my clients, and certainly in my own practice too. So, as you know, Doc, most CEOs, well, hopefully all CEOs make business decisions. So they always want to know they're getting a good ROI, a good return on their investment. So could you speak into that for your clients with Elevate? Like what our folks might expect to experience?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously across the nation, across the world, ROI is it's going to vary, right? I mean, we've got clients who are doing 10, 15, 12x, right? And we've got clients who are doing 2, 3x, right? We guarantee that all of our clients see at least a 2-to-1 return. Our average is somewhere between 4 and 5x, simply based on the numbers that, having looked at the data, across the past couple of years, that's what we're consistently seeing with our clients. Cool. Right.
What do you think? I've seen this happening in in the digital space where one system in a particular environment gets a 4-to-1 return, and the same system in another environment gets a 20-to-1 return. What is the thing that's driving that?
So, couple of things, right? So the number one that we can't control is market variability, right? I mean, I always give the example, if you chose to live in Denver, Colorado, Denver is an amazing place to live, but a lot of people have moved there because it's an amazing place to live. If you're in Little Rock, Arkansas, right? Maybe your family's there, maybe, your significant others, whatever it may be. Not as many people are looking to move there. So you might get better results just from a numbers-based perspective there than in, say, Denver.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we can control, that we can do something about, is the creative that we put out. Because the way that Facebook's algorithm is now working is there's two things that are going to drive results. It's your creative, meaning your images, your videos, and your ad copy. And so those are things that we can tweak, modify, and play with to be able to get best results. Now, one of the things that I see from most doctors is that it's the creative, the videos, the images, the things that they send, they aren't up to snuff, right? They're not producing good enough content that's actually going to get people to stop their scroll. And so that's something that we do with our clients, is we'll actually write the scripting and give it to you and say, this is the ad that you need to do. Go do it. Lots of energy, make it spicy. That's how we need to create content that is going to get people to stop scrolling and then be able to start building trust through the funnel, because we are in a trust recession right now. And if you want to be the person that someone comes to and trusts, especially with a Facebook or Instagram ad, you got to get them to stop scrolling. But then with all of the content and the things that you're putting out, that's where you need to build trust for them, that they know that they're making a good decision. And that leads to better show rates. That leads to a lower cost per show. And that is what is going to drive the results ultimately in your practice, as far as what happens day 1, day 2, day 3.
Got it. Love that. You've kind of talked about this already, Doc, but I'm curious about your vision for the future. When you look at the challenges that are coming for the chiropractic profession going into the next year, 2 years, 3 years, what do you see? What are the challenges? What do you assess our needs are? How are you and Elevate sort of preparing for that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that there's a lot of things that are happening in the world right now. So, I mean, from the trust perspective, I think that that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that not a lot of people are talking about. And if you are going to be marketing online, and you are going to be doing marketing online, especially digitally, Facebook, Google ads, whatever, and that's where a good portion of your new patients come from, content is going to continue to be king, right?
Mhm.
Making sure that you are producing good content that is actually going to help, right? So a couple things are that in addition that are really happening is, Instagram just came out actually on Sunday, so July 10th, 2025, where Instagram is now Google is going to be pulling content from Instagram. And so there's actually a way where if you put a image up of you adjusting someone on your tables, that you can go into the alt text of that creative and actually be able to put in what that is. So Google will start pulling and extracting that information from Instagram through the powers of AI and the things that they do to be able to put that content in front of people. The other thing that I would tell you that we're seeing a lot of is something called GEO, right? So everybody has heard of SEO. Yes, but it's generative engine optimizations. And I'm kind of on the techie side of things, but a lot of people are getting to the point where they are searching for things on ChatGPT, on Claude, on these engines. And so those are the things that we are seeing. And so if you are not working with a company who is doing things to optimize your website to actually pull in that data to where ChatGPT is pulling good content, you're going to start falling behind even in the SEO game. And so those are all of the moves and things that we're moving towards as a company. And we've already started implementing with practices that we work with to make sure that they're ahead of the curve as far as where their practice stands out in their community.
Awesome. That's cool. That's awesome. Listen, Dr. Kendall, you shared some, I think, incredible pearls with us already today in just these few minutes. So thank you for that. I want to make sure that our listeners can get in touch with you if they want to after they've heard what you've had to say. I'm confident there's going to be a lot of folks wanting to reach out. So how do they get you? How do they reach you?
Yeah, so there's going to be a couple ways. So number one is just goelevatemarketing.com. So again, goelevatemarketing.com. That's the best way to get in reach with me, but you can always also reach out to me via cell, right? I have all of my clients have my cell phone number, so that way we can be able to, workshop through anything that they have going on. And
Cool.
that's 618-406-5285, or you can email me at drkendall@goelevatemarketing.com.
And we'll drop it on the call too. So that's cool.
Awesome.
Doc, is there anything else you want our audience to know about Elevate?
I think the only thing that I want people to know is that we've been in your shoes. We understand what it's like to run a practice, how busy a practice can be, how exhausting it can be to go from room to room where someone's really, really high and someone's really, really low. And that when you work with Elevate, you don't just have another marketing vendor. You have a marketing partner that is absolutely as invested in the mission and purpose that you have in your practice, because we're here to give, to love, to do, to serve out of a sense of abundance as well. And we want to help your community become healthier so that we can serve the greater mission to keep people off of drugs, avoiding surgeries, and living life at its fullest potential as possible through chiropractic care.
Love it. Couldn't have said that better. So thank you, man. Really appreciate you, Doc, for being here today. I know our audience really is going to appreciate this. So thank you so much. And I can't wait to see you. Maybe, are you at the next immersion?
I'll be at the next immersion.
Great. So we got to make sure we connect there.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Remarkables. See you soon.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like the podcast, please subscribe, share with your friends, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, please click the links in the show notes to schedule a call.